The Western Way Tarot Decks, the Major Arcana Card Meanings. I made several videos on the tarot, its origins, and my own journey into making my decks. I realized the Major Arcana was comprised of cards making for spiritual paths, and the cards represented points of realization or conflict on those paths. I also talked about finding colors and paths for each suit and the mythology behind that study. I demonstrated how I picked each of the letters for each card in Gaelic. This video concerns the meaning of the cards in the Major Arcana. Amadan, the Fool. The fool is the child or the novice who sets foot upon the path of development. The word Amadan literally means non-minded. When this card shows up in the reading, it means that a new path will be taken. It also means that the querent has the right open state of mind to pursue that path. Ogham letter A is the elm, fir, or pine tree, alum. In our reverse orientation, the Fool card may indicate confusion or awkwardness in the situation at hand. Reversed or ill-dignified, surrounded by contrary cards, the Fool card also means that the querent or aspects of the question are subject to blindness or the inability to create useful habits that will solve the issue. The animals represent a willingness to endanger themselves to get at something. The badger and the mouse are hanging to elm trees. Among the Celts, the badger is a shapeshifter, but protection against witchcraft. The mouse is considered the soul of a person who was killed. The man in the Anya deck, Peter Shields, is dressed formally, but is stepping off a table, a sure sign that he does not see how his actions have dire consequences. Fierta, the Magus. The Magus or Magician card represents miracles, magic, or trickery that the querent does not understand. The word Fiertach means tricky man or miracle worker. This card is a symbol of awe toward the miracles of life or the abilities of the master or tantalizing aspects of the new. The Ogham letter F is the alder tree, Fjarn. In the reversed orientation, the Magus card shows how an inexperienced person sees a new situation. It can be a symbol of mistrust or skepticism. Magicians were ancient shamans and invokers of magic, both good and evil. His card may mean the situation is under the gaze of the evil eye and should be viewed with caution. The falcon is a symbol of the shape-shifting wizard Merlin. In most European cultures, blackbirds were a symbol of trickery, and the wolf has long been a symbol of the lone shaman of the north. In the Anya deck, the man named Blade, Wolf, is tied to the raven dance of the older people in my Tales of Anya series. If you see ravens, falcons, or wolf cards in your spread, you should take this as an indication of the ability to call forth summer out of the winter skies. Shifruk, the High Priestess. The High Priestess card represents the ancient kind of spiritual channeler. This priestess or goddess lived in every spring and river in ancient Europe. She was also the caretaker of animals, the bringer of fire, and the teacher of crafts. The priestesses of Bridget and the Vestal Virgins were dedicated to this kind of magic. She represents a spiritual fire beyond words, inspiration, and the muse of poetry, art, and nature. Shifruk is the Celtic word for elf, enchantress, or fairy. The Ogham letter S is the willow tree, sail. Ill-dignified, the princess card is the fear of the other world touching the world we see and hear. Forces beyond explanation are often frightening and illogical. If this card is reversed, look for the hand of the fair folk, or an element of luck that might be quirky and impossible to control, like a fire that gets out of hand. This card is an ancient symbol of writing, but also means the power from within, or wisdom. The heron was a symbol of letters and the stork a symbol of rebirth. The fox has long been a trickster in Europe, but is always a shapeshifter with innate power of procreation. The girl is Edna Shields, who saved the world of Anya from destruction, but lost her love doing so. Uya, the Empress. The Empress card symbolizes the desire force in the world, a passive rather than active voice. It is a rich call of the fertile earth, the ocean, or that which needs to bear fruit and transform over time. This card may denote a desire in the querent to gather power from the other in order to grow, learn, and shape the future. The word uri means new earth, but it also implies the human body, the grave, and physical desire. The Ogham letter U is the heather tree, ura. Reversed, this card is the power of life coming from death, but also the continuity of the cycle of life and death. The power of the earth is in its changing aspects. This card can, if surrounded by similar cards, be a dark goddess in the midst of the spread, a hole in the earth, or a heart, which causes the life force to be perverted into sickness and dying. In Europe, both the cat and the hare represent fertility. The hare was a symbol of Easter and the goddess of replenishment. The woman is Lahara, the elk queen, who became high queen of the horse people. She represents Hera, but more so the wild goddesses of the pastoral north who brought forth life and death. Schmacht. The Emperor card represents the rage force, or the force of the living blood and sap that makes life burst forth. The word smacht means both rule and discipline, but also fine or to subjugate. The Emperor card may symbolize a passion in the querent or in the question that demands to be seen and heard. The Ogham letter Z is the blackhorn tree, Straff. The Emperor card, when reversed, may denote combat, punishment, and argument, or merely a position of truculent defense. No matter what the question, this card makes it imperative. If the Emperor card is surrounded by other problematic cards, consider that the situation may be too polarized or prone to battle. You may need to be ready to attack, defend, or both. The bear and the eagle have long been symbols of the might of the ruler. Warlord symbols evolved into symbols of kingdoms and empires. In the south, this tree was probably the cedar, another symbol of the ruler. The man depicted is Mursius Calanus, a Zalosian warlord. He represents the incursion of the Aryan sky gods into the lands of pastoral and farming cultures, replacing tricksters and earth goddesses. The bear roars in front of the blackthorn in bloom. Levant, the Hierophant, or the Oracle. The oracle is a sacred ritual of initiation or reunion that introduces the querent to the path. This card may also be a door guard or a medium through which a person passes from one life into another. This card means the union of two worlds and the threshold into the unknown. The word waven means awe. The Ogham letter H is the hawthorn tree, wa. The Hierophant reversed implies something horrific, terrifying, and exciting. This may be a challenge, but it also might be the fear or reluctance to cross over onto a new path. This card is indicative of the need to either be challenged or granted access to secret knowledge. If you cannot pass the test to go through the door, consider going back to the drawing board or to the books to study. The European cuckoo and owls are ambivalent symbols. The owl is a bird of the other world representing souls and oracular predictions. The cuckoo is a fertility bird, heralding the arrival of spring, but it also means chastity. The legend of Bloed of the Flowers, who was an owl shaper, is from the Welsh Mabinogion. I have also alluded to that tale with a drawing of the Queen of the Hawthorn dancing around her chosen. Kuchi, the lovers. The lover's card implies a marriage or a union, but more importantly, this card represents sharing or the responsibility of legal accord. The Celts had over 200 different forms of marriage and family bond, so it was very important to them to create a large range of contracts. The word Kuchi means to share. The Ogham letter Q is the apple tree, quirt. The lover's card is the spread indicating a partnership based on care, but it also can mean that a partnership is now one-sided or does not benefit either party. If reversed, this card can mean the split or the end of a union. The couple here are married and represent bonded parents and a family. The wolves and doves are both white, which in the West is a color of purity and innocence. The tree is an apple tree, the tree of Freya, that supplanted the other fertility fruit, the pomegranate, in the story of Persephone. Heather was also a fertility plant in Britain, especially where it groomed and bloomed in acid soil. The colors of this card, red and green, have traditionally been the colors of everlasting love. Stories about fertility couples were more common outside the Celts, who have more stories of tragic lovers. Carbod. The chariot card is mistaken for many things, but it is basically the need to take, carry, drive, or defend by removal or moving. This card can mean either digging in or relocation, depending on which is the best strategy for the question. The word carbod is rooted in two meanings, dealing with the wicker baskets or vehicle made from a wicker basket. Holding on to what you have is the real meaning of this card. The Ogham letter G is the ivy tree, gort. The chariot card is less favorable aspect, means loss while trying to protect what one has or relocating without the ability to keep what you have. It can also mean the inability to move or leave behind because of attachments. This means the responsibilities that tie one down, the failure to accept responsibility, or the fear of getting stuck in a situation. The chariot card traditionally shows a knight who represents the sun. The man in the Anya deck is the prince of the nation of the rising sun and may represent Apollo, but also Heimdall, guardian of the rainbow bridge to Asgard. The snail on the ivy leaf is a symbol of fragility of the vessel of life that carries across the universe. Weaning, strength. The strength card represents the blithe confidence that comes from health, courage, and conviction. This is a powerful card which reinforces the other good cards in the reading. It is a feeling of being on the lucky path, as if nothing can go wrong. The word weaning means both trust and confidence, but is closely tied to the word for learning. This card can represent the confidence that comes from experience or mastery of a subject, as well as luck. The Ogham letter M is the bramble tree, wean. The flip side of this card is that wean also means vine or wine, indicating another kind of false confidence that comes from drinking, such as boasting or blustering. Celtic warriors were masters of the boast and eager to prove themselves by outshouting their opponents. This card reversed can mean that there is nothing behind all the bluster, or that the whole reading is swollen and fragile. The nature cards show a lynx, an animal in Europe associated with the other world because of its silence and stealth. The girl is a Persephone figure, alluding to the long tradition of a girl taming a lion, or in this case, a large black wolf. Yoli, or Kuvach, the hermit, solitude, or wisdom. The hermit card heralds a light in the darkness, a person or force capable of guiding the querent onto the path. This force can be a form of a mentor or a teacher or a guide, or it can be merely a feeling that this is the right way, given one's experience and knowledge. It is not a vague feeling, but a concrete clue in a mystery pointing in the direction not previously considered. Kuvak means power, but also loneliness and the supernatural wisdom of the hermit's magic. Ogham letter C is the hazel tree, coal. The hermit card reversed is the lack of knowledge or the lack of a guide. The feeling can create confusion or a sense of being lost in a great wood full of monsters, for coil means hazels, woods, and monstrous. If this card is ill-dignified, it can mean a general lack of any clue as to what's going on. The appearance of this card means the conscious mind is incapable of understanding, and so any real guide will be invisible or misunderstood. The Anya card shows Stana Gali as a Yola, representing the great Taliesin, a wizard druid. He was a slave to a witch and ate some of her salmon soup after the fish had been fed on the hazelnuts of knowledge. The fox was also a European symbol of wizardry, but the hazel tree is the root of wisdom. Roja, fortune. The Wheel of Fortune card represents fate or the end result, causes and conditions of the current situation. When upright, this card symbolizes an outcome that will be to the benefit of those involved in the question. This is not a single fate, but the reoccurrence of a result such as good harvest every year. This card also means that resources are in place to take advantage of any opportunity that comes along. The word "a" means luck. Achis means fun, but also sharp premonition. Ogham letter A is the juniper, Achu. The reversed fall of fortune needs no explanation. However, this card is reversed. It can also mean the querent or the question are on the rim of the wheel, flying around the center of a storm that is out of control. One moment seems good, the next bad, wildly spinning back and forth. The feeling is one of intense anxiety, not confidence. The nature cards show the seal, intent upon eating heron, unaware that it is pursued by a shark. The seal, like the dolphin, is a symbol of good fortune, unlike the shark, who is the reverse. The Anya card shows Lucia Shields, who created Anya, with the twin boys who changed the fate of Anya. Bray, justice. The justice card symbolizes a position of balance, yet it also stands for power behind the ability to discern. The word bray means to judge or weigh the facts, but it also means to birth or bear forth, either the birth of a child or a bearing of judgment. The primary acts of people are also of discernment. Is this good? Is this dangerous? Is this helpful? This card is a balance point where you can see all aspects of the problem and make a fair decision. The Ogham letter B is the birch tree, Bay. The birch tree is favored both for its wood for making cradles and for its twigs used to birch someone, to punish them. The Celtic word for birth, Bay, also means to be. The Egyptian god Ma'at weighed the souls of those who died against the feather. Positionally favorably or upside down, the justice card becomes a punishment that is often called karma, which is the consequence of some ill-born act. The deer and the birch tree are both associated with acts of dominance and control. They open the year with the Celts with brilliant gold colors and a show of antlers and a struggle of the bucks. The man in the Anya deck is Caratus Coglanus, who made the peace of Anya and forced law upon the clans. Fiachrocha, Danriaka, the hanged man or the sacrifice. The hanged man card is the power of sacrifice, once of vital importance to the ancients. For modern people, the card means the power of selfless act, either heroic or humble. Humans have a remarkable capacity for heroism in emergencies, even when helping might mean the risk of dying. This also is the power of the spirit to jump into the fray or will the body beyond what seems possible. The hanged man indicates a need, but also a willingness and an ability to meet that need. The phrase Don Rioja means a kingly gift or a royal sacrifice. The hero is not a hero unless there is a sacrifice. The Ogham letter D is the oak tree, dare. If ill-dignified or reversed, the hanged man ceases to be a sacrifice to improve the situation and becomes a needless waste of energy or resources for a bad cause. History gives us examples of poor sacrifices rather than good ones. If the hanged man appears, something was lost, something innocent, wholesome or good, but for what reason? Sometimes a poor sacrifice can be turned into a life lesson or a cautionary tale. The wren is a sacred bird to the Celtic Druids, for whom it was a king of birds. The oak is also a king tree. The man is a sacrificial consort of the serpent queen, but also the Norse god Balder, killed by the mistletoe. Marv, lake. The death card represents profound change, the change of initiation or the skin changing that appears in many fairy tales. The other cards of the major arcana pale before this card that demands that the querent look deep for a deeper meaning, often not in the immediate question, but in a more fundamental question. The word lek means decay, but also the art of healing or leechcraft. Although we associate death with illness, this card represents going through illness in recovery to remedy the spirit. The Ogham letter L is the rowan tree, lush. The death card reversed means the opposite of change, to be numb or in deep slumber that is virtually catatonic. Its appearance means a loss of life or animation. The reversed card may mean that the situation can go nowhere because its roots hide underground in the lands of the dead. For centuries, the bat and the black corvid signified death to the Celts. Both animals are oracles, the bat for weather and the corvid for fate. The bat with a shapeshifter and a spirit of the other world. The tree is the rowan tree, which is synonymous with fire. The man in the picture is going through a doorway between Earth and Anya. Both of his avatars merge. May, Yagana. The temperance card does not just mean to all things in moderation, it also means forgiveness, patience, and deep compassion. This is the card of Mary and Kuan Yin, the card of mercy and empathy. Many people come to this state only after experiencing great suffering and pain. This card asks for forgiveness of others and of the self. The word Yagana means wisdom. Ogham letter E is for the aspen, Yada. Upside down, the temperance card becomes the wild spirit without wisdom. Unable to forgive, unable to step back, unable to rest. Many people enter this state of wild abandon to the emotions as a panic reaction. If a tempest is raging through the cards, it might be a sign that no good will come without first patiently waiting for the winds to die down. The swan is seen as a bird of fertility and love, but also as a bird of the other world, or a shape-shifting maiden. Such stories often tell of women who, fearing for themselves, take on the form of a swan. The swan also represents those who are enchanted or imprisoned. The woman on the Anya card is the Black Queen, a victim of love, wrongfully blamed, but ultimately as one of sorrow and forgiveness. She is patterned after Deirdre of the Sorrows. Prak. The devil card is temptation, but it is also a goading card. It is a reminder of the fact that life is full of small irritations that are often more annoying than the large catastrophes. This card is a hair shirt or a jab when things seem too comfortable. This card can also mean that the situation is full of distractions, either pleasant or irritating. The word prak means to prick or to goad. The Ogham letter P is the viburnum tree, Pe, or Faedog, honeysuckle. Just as the goading devil card can remind everyone not to stray from the path, reversed it can mean that the situation is tempting but strangling. It will ultimately lead the querent away from the original goal. As on the death card, the bat and the corvid appear again. Both of these animals have reputations for heralding the other world and death, but they are also a warning. Magpies in particular are birds of ill omen, and the bat became a sign of the attempt to hold on to life beyond what was natural. The entire corvid family is seen as tricksters. The man in the picture is trained to be a thorn in the side of his enemies. He fights with the thin spear of Hollywood. The nature cards show the viburnum, but this tree was also a European adaptation of the giant reed, hemp, or nettle. Tubishta Trosquich. The tower card is a sign of sudden and violent change. It also signifies that the situation is on shaky ground. The word Trishkart means to overturn. However, this card need not represent physical disaster, but possibly an epiphany or renunciation of old beliefs. The tower's fall will bring relief to the edifice that one has opened up old wounds. The Ogham letter T is the holly tree, Chinya. If reversed, the tower card is a caution that the chosen course of action is building upon shaky ground. If the querent persists in ignoring this warning, disaster is often the result. Sometimes you might deliberately seek out the storm in order to rid yourself of old baggage. This is a warning that the storm will wipe out all you wanted to retain. These cards show holly trees struck by lightning. The holly is a Celtic tree of plenty, but also of the death of the year and the king of winter. In ancient trees, destruction, more often than not, came in the form of violent weather. The woman in the Anya deck is a tragic figure representing the fall of her nation, a symbol of the overturning of the familiar words by civilizing forces. Raelta. The star means hope. The Celtic word for star, rael, and real are words for bright things, but they also mean manifestation. Hope is a longing for the bright point in the darkness or the first sign of rain in the desert. Old meanings for galaxy were a river of stars like a moat between worlds. When the Creatrix poured the stars out of her vessel, they became a river in a dark land. The Ogham letter L is for Iho, the yew tree. The star reversed means delusion or false light that looks like a guide but leads you into danger. Just as the upright star can mean hope, the reversed star can mean false hope or delusion. The water in the horizon is merely a mirage. If this card is in the spread reversed, look for an oasis vanishing beyond approach. The birds represent night are seen in the nature cards, the owl and the nightjar. Many animals and trees can symbolize hope and renewal, but birds are more often seen as messengers of the other world, crossing the starry path of the cosmos. The nightjar is in a strawberry tree, another tree that was represented by the Ogham letter I, an evergreen with red berries. The Anya card shows a wolf, a star map, and two sighting posts of a stellar observatory. Gaelic. The moon card is like the word moody. The Latin word luna is the basis for the word lunatic. This card also symbolizes time and the cycle of time and says, "This shoe shall pass." The people are aware that the moon causes tides, but it keeps the earth from flipping over on its axis. So think of the card as the repeating cycles within a stable system. Yal means to whiten or to brighten, and is related to the word yellow. The Ogham letter Y is the reed, yelachach. In a positive aspect, the moon card contributes to overall stability. Its smaller cycles can nevertheless create havoc in any situation. If the moon card is reversed, the querent can expect the rise and fall of lunacy. The only way to survive this kind of crazed influence is to have a sense of humor, for the world will be turned on its head when the cycles continue. The moon was an ancient sign of fertility, and the animals associated with it appear in 3 colors, red, white, and black. Or they change colors with the season, like the hare or the weasel. The plants on the cards are water plants, the willow and the reed, which are also of 3 colors, the white, red, and purple willow. The Anya card shows the White Queen who brought about the destruction of the Moon Nation. Gran. The Sun card is light and merry, humorous and warm. Gran is the word for bearded. For the Celts, the sun was a jolly man with a beard of light. In the tarot, the sun is a child with a halo of golden hair. This card symbolizes joy and happiness in life, creates a favorable environment that makes other cards less negative. The Ogham letter R is the last consonant in the alphabet, the elder tree, Rush. Reversed, the sun card is clouded. What this might mean in the reading depends strongly on the question and situation. Reversal of this card does not cause the other cards around it to become more negative, but is darkness on the situation and makes it harder to see what is going on. The nature cards show 2 animals of luck, the seal and the dolphin, that signify good weather to sailors. They are both playful animals who are also depicted as shapeshifters. The elder is often seen as a witch's tree, but it is healer and said to be an entire medicine chest. The Anya card shows a bear shaper and his child who symbolize the dawn of hope from out of the darkness of turmoil. The elder ends the year in the Ogham in October when the harvest is in. Neve. The judgment card represents the act of atonement. Justice weighs out the matter, but judgment card means that the payment is due. In ancient times, every person, animal, or even trees had their price. Everyone paid fines for everything. If this card appears, there is an accounting to be settled. The word Neve means making amends, and it is related to the word nemesis. The Ogham letter N is the ash tree, Nan. In ancient times, if a person's family could not pay the penalty for an infraction of the rules, the guilty party was sold into slavery. Sometimes people sold themselves in order to save their families from debt. If the judgment card is reversed, it means that the fine or the penalty for the misdeed is so high that the querent should consider whether or not it is worth really risking the payment. The ash was said to be the world tree of the north. It was circled by the great serpent, shown here as the poisonous adder. The story of the world snake or serpent comes from the fact that the constellation Draco, serpent or dragon, used to be the celestial pole, and the serpent spun around its tail every year. The Anya card shows the uprising of the Veldoniki, whose destruction heralded the end of a people, an event mirrored again and again in Europe. Ish. The world card means completion, either a phase of life or the end of an era. The appearance of this card might evoke a feeling of satisfaction. Just as the Fool indicates the beginning of a journey or adventure, this card represents its fruitful completion. The word Ish means age, both in completing of age and coming of age. The Ogham letter O is related to the word Ogham, which means complete. It is also the furze tree, On. Reversed, the world symbolizes an uneasy feeling of things left undone. It may mean unfinished business and loose ends, or that the fabric of the situation is unraveling without a proper hem on the edge. The entire reading is in doubt because nothing can be resolved. One of the nature cards shows a galaxy and bare gorse trees. The other shows pines and some otters. The Anya card shows the cosmos with a collection of bardic tattoos and the maze and the gate between worlds.